Probably not, baby. You had a lot of candy already, okay? All right, it is 7 o'clock. Let's call this meeting to order. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. If the clerk could call the roll.
Trustee Cappy,
Here.
trustee House,
Here.
trustee Beckman,
Here.
president Gerke,
Here.
trustee Dorwart,
Present.
trustee Bark, here, trustee Mylan.
Present.
Thank you.
All right, having a quorum, we will move on. Next, we have public comments. Anything that's not on the agenda, limited to 5 minutes per person. I will say one thing, since we don't have any reports today, I just want to talk a little bit. That image that you see on the screen is the repair that was done on Milwaukee Street. As most of you probably know, we had a water main break in the village. I want to say that was on
Tuesday.
Thank you. Tuesday. This is what the repair looks like. I've got a couple other pictures. I just wanted to show the board for the sake of showing. This is the hole that was in the pipe. You can kind of see it's not just a hole, but there's also a fracture that was going down the length of the pipe. That's what that image is trying to show. So that stretch in Milwaukee Street, North Milwaukee Street is pretty rough. We've had a couple of breaks there already, obviously within the last year and a half, something like that, but just something for everybody to keep on their minds when we start talking about raising utility rates and things like that. We're going to have a lot of these water main breaks that happen and they have to get paid for somehow. So DPW guys, the water utility in particular, these guys put in a lot of time to make sure that our water source stayed safe. I know Brandon came in and was here as late as 1 a.m, 2 a.m, turning off water in various parts of the village to ensure that the wells could fill the tower back up so it didn't get below a certain level. So he took the initiative on that and took the responsibility to basically sit here and monitor that all night so we didn't have to get to the danger of having one of those water boil advisories that would come out. So really hats off to them. They did a good job, but just something to keep in mind that these things happen and they're going to keep happening on these older utilities. Bruce, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm just, when we address that, we also know that there's several sewer issues down there also, so it's not just that water issue.
Yeah, the utilities on those roads are aged. In some spots, they're past their life expectancy. So even more important to make sure that we keep having funds in our utilities to fix these things going forward. So. All right, any other public comments? If not, we'll move on to the consent agenda, which is the minutes and the general water and sewer invoices.
Motion to approve consent agenda. Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Next, we have presentations. The first presentation we have, I'm going to hand it over to Trustee Bartz. This is the 2023 Village Beautification Award. Come to the front here.
All right, so we gotta post the pictures.
Oh, dressed up so much.
Now, I know that you were part of this too. You'd like to come on up. Yeah, I did get out there for one day. It was hard work. All right. Close the here. Close together, we like each other, smile. Thank you. Daughter, you want to get that out? Okay.
Do you want one?
Sure.
It's not mine. I didn't think it was. I'll stay.
Then it did have to work for some break. It smiles.
You mind explaining kind of what went into this and all?
Absolutely. So the Village Park Department wanted to started this beautification on the word, really been presenting things to our citizens to take pride in their homes and make them look nice, and really kind of a boost, props, I guess,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term, just to give recognition to those that are. So we do appreciate, making your house beautiful and helping this village look nice. And I'll tell you, this is something that we can do for years to come. And we have a chance to have a beautification award, so this will be an annual award that will be going up, so, the Parks and Rec Department will be touring the village in the summer, and thank you very much.
Congratulations. Awesome. Well, you are more than welcome to stay, go, whatever you want to do. I got a little excited because we had someone here for the budget, but that's okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much. Congratulations again. Yeah, it's a cool award. It's something that I think that we should keep doing. Just like the holiday light contest that we had last year, it got people engaged and into the community and all that. So I think that's a good thing to do. With the,
Do you have a Halloween award?
no, but we all would know who would win that one anyway.
Yeah.
So.
I think there's only 2 contestants for that.
All right, next we have the 2024 budget presentation. I'm gonna sneak out real quick just to talk to her real quickly, but please carry on.
So while we wait for the village president, I'll speak a little bit. I've done budget presentations like this, the 7th year as administrator doing presentations like this. This crowd that you see here is very normal. So don't be surprised. That's typically how it is. It's not until after we go through this way, you stop right there.
It's always been this big.
So it's always like that. So first off, I'm gonna do a lot of thank yous. Obviously, our treasurer was here. Let's spend a lot of time going through the numbers with myself, so I appreciate that. Our clerk, especially the last 2 weeks, did a lot of help with proofreading, organizing, and structuring the document that's before you, so you say that to her. And of course, all of our department heads and employees got a lot of feedback over the past few months about culminating in this document. So, tonight is very easy. I'm just very high level, go through the budget document. The budget line items were presented to the finance committee a week or so ago. And got insights and recommendations from them. Those recommendations were implemented into book for you. So tonight, again, it's just going to be a high level review of what's in this document. And then I encourage you to go home, take this with you. You have about a month to improve it. If you have the information, please ask questions, reach out. At the end of the day, it's your budget. It's an important document that you guys pass on an annual basis. It's our guidance for really everything we can do. So on that note, I'll start this off here. It works. This is also in your agenda package for the following. First off is our village organizational chart, which we'll look at with the mayor team. Blue is our residents, orange are our elected officials, dark blue are independent appointed body, and green are the employees or contracted workers. So again, this is a newer organizational chart. We have been removing some committees this year, and fine tuning, who reports who, how these work. Maybe all this one under the streamline and efficient. And we keep scrolling on here. We have a little summary of 2023. So high level challenges, the budget in general was a big challenge. If you guys remember, actually tomorrow is my 1-year anniversary with the village. So it's hard to believe it's only higher a year ago. And we sat at a presentation like this, I look back on October 20th. So that means within 2 to 3 weeks, on you guys are hiring me or at least contracting to get some employee. We threw together a budget really fast. Knowing that, we knew that there was going to be a lot of months along the way. We budgeted a lot of reserves, if you remember. And then about 2 or 3 times on this year, we made adjustments to the line items. So overall, we knew that that was a challenge moving into 2023, but we feel a lot better involved with our learning process and all the year. Next up, I'm going to compare to water and sewer. We know about this, we just heard about another one. You can't prepare really, you never know when the water breaks to happen, or the clarifier is gonna arms gonna bang. But they happen, and we started to be prepared, when that possibility is out there. And then finally, the paramedic program, this we talked about throughout the year, we passed the agreement in spring. But even doing so, we started hiring, there was kind of uneasiness about whether we get funding. Luckily, we have that answer now, thankfully, but that wasn't always the case throughout the year. But accomplishments, you'll notice a lot of accomplishments, for this year. First off, the reserve fund interest, something that I'd like to brag about everyone. We're getting incredible return on our investments, with our reserve account, reserving our savings account that we have. Those reserves, those who are new on the board, got to move to LGIP, this local government investment pool. That's a pool of investments that's housed through the state. That generally has a higher return on investment than an average bank account would. So by moving our funds over there, we've seen a lot more interest, which I really great. And my rule of thumb, and most I talked about going into 2024, you pay yourself first, right? You all do that in your own, about 10% you put aside for a rainy day, and then you order on your expenses. So that's going to be our philosophy here as well. You never know. Next up, certifications and reports for the water and sewer were updated. And our DPW director likes to talk about. You can continue to find various reports and certifications and things like that to make sure are up to date. We really pride ourselves that we has gotten that department in good place. We continue to maintain those certifications in law. In conjunction with that, the lab was established. We talked a lot about this at the finance meeting. Having the lab as sort of a passive income for the village is going to be a really nice tool for us to utilize. And it really helps us to be a community partner. Other organizations, municipalities that might not be able to do their own testing, we now have to provide that service. Obviously, the mud run, we created that. It was a pretty momentous task when we first thought about it. We weren't sure how it was going to go. Even the day of, but that turned out to be really fun and exciting event. It definitely a success for us. And to this day, we now have neighbors that are asking what to do again. So that's pretty exciting. We have 5 tenants that are solidified for the TID. Again, I certainly cannot take credit for all of these. We have a great partner, Michelle Barker, who's our commercial realtor. When I came on again a year ago, I think we had 1 that was solidified for Logan. All of the other 4 pretty much kind of fell domino effects since then. And that's, we say it again, having 5 tenants, really great TID, a year into creation. That is huge, really, really exciting. Next up, we did a lot of plans, a lot of studies that we implemented or learned from. We passed the compensation plan, the handbook, CIP plan, transportation plan, and of course, our planning process that's completed. A couple of you noticed our new poster that's hanging up there here in the village hall room, and then it's also at the just to get us a reminder of. And then finally, we've got a lot of ordinance changes and updates that continue to be rolled into the process. But in total, again, the accomplishments certainly outweigh the challenges. I feel like we've accomplished a lot this year. Moving on, where our financial policies and standing currently are. So for those who are unfamiliar, we practice fund-based accounting. There's 2 types of municipal accounting you can have: cash accounting or fund-based. Cash is where we have like 1 big checking account, everything rolls into that 1 account, and then you expense from that 1 account. And fund accounting, you have separate funds set up for certain purposes. So when you read through the budget, you'll see our general fund. That's not the only fund that we have, right? We have fire, water, sewer, lab, and TID. So just know that when we talk about what we can do, it's typically within a certain fund. And if we needed to, we could transfer between those funds, but that's pretty because I'm very rigorous for you unless it's plan. The next thing is our fund balance. So not that usually fund accounting. Fund balance is your savings account. So your policy was created back in 2018 under the states that you should have at least 25 to 30% of your assessed your assessed value in your annual operating amount in reserves. You guys are sitting at 86%. You're saving out very, very, very good.
It was just July recently.
Say again?
It was just July recently. Wait till December comes
Yeah, right.
around, we'll be down from that.
That's where it's right now. So you're sitting at 1.336 million, in the bank, it's very healthy. The reason this number is important is two things. One, people are borrowing or bonding, what you have in reserves is a factor in your credit rating, municipal bond rating. And two, it's important for that rainy day fund, right? Because no, that's clarifying the break, that's going to have dollars, the next important metric is your debt obligation. So again, your policy states that it's 5% of your total assessed value is how much you have of debt. You're currently only at 1.3, so that number continues to go down as you pay off debt. All keep in mind in 2024, which are new projects, but still be low debt items. And then finally, your budget should always be balanced. We actually don't have a financial policy that says we need to have a balanced budget, but I know you, I will always present you with a balanced budget. Yes. All right, let's get into some fun. All right, so some highlights in the general fund. So your levy is the amount that you're allowed to collect from your taxpayers. Your levy limit typically is kind of, the number is, the only goes up by net new construction. As we talked about in the past, the village's net new construction is 3.3%, is highest, it was that in county, so again, something else to be proud of. So because you're below by 3.3%, we're going to levy to below by that amount. Giving us that extra fund. Great to see. Added to that, the assessed value increased by 20 million. That's us capturing some new development in the TID and kind of deal in their expansion. And again, we'll get to it when we talk about the tax rates. But when the value of the village goes up, the amount of money we collect in the chain that lowers your tax rate. Act 12 brought us an increase in share revenue dollars. You see, it's about $70,000 of extra money coming in from the state. All this obviously. In the general fund, we are committing $50,000 investment in road maintenance. This was a big change in the past as well. This year's budget had about 10,000. Year before, about 15,000. So this came out of the transportation plan, through the public works committee, and presentation to you all that, hey, we're in a pretty good place with our general roads. We want to keep it that way, right? We need to invest those dollars now to do the sealing and protect the measures for against the point where we reach. And so those dollars will help us do that. Next up is up to 5% error-based wage increase for full-time employees. So again, the personnel committee is expanded their recommendation to implement a merit-based increase. In the past, we were doing general cost of living increases. We talked about it at the finance committee, how it was best to implement. The idea was to kind of take that number, cut it into half of it would be cost of living that everybody's guaranteed to get, and then the other half is the merit-based piece. And that is based on performance, whether it's myself or our department heads or department heads, their employees. It's based on those high performing employees that we have, and then that will determine that percentage. Next up is the CIP items. This is been for finance and for as well. All of these CIP items that we approved are within this budget. It's a mix of cash on hand purchases and for the large items borrowing. Next up is 50,000 in contingency. Contingency again is just a fancy word for saying saving for a rainy day. So as I talked about earlier, January 1st, Melissa and I were literally grabbed 50K, thrown into the reserves, and then it's there, earning interest, waiting for us to use it at And then finally, the best part is that we can fund all of this and all the stuff that we talked about. Your tax rate is still going to go down. Some of you were here last year where we had a difficult choice of correcting some of our levy issues that were having. And Texas went up to be significant with $1.50. So now you can turn around and give that relief the next year is something certainly that was part of the committee and part of the as the finance chair, and something that we should really do the village. So again, that decrease is 29 cents, so the rate will go from about $6.12 to $5.89 for $1,000. So an easy way is where they calculate their own taxes, we just take their the value of your home and then multiply it by that rate, and that'll your village portion of your taxes. If you would, it's the village portion of your taxes. You can't control it. County does, tax school, or the school district. So our taxes do it, so the village taxes go, tax rate will be going down. Here is just a summary chart of the general income and where it comes from. As the amendment, majority of our income comes from the tax base. Behind that are the intergovernmental revenues, the aids that get from the state or various grants. After that is our miscellaneous permits and finding interest on the class. And then we look at the expense side. Our biggest expense, as always, are people. After that, we have public works projects, public safety. We do some transfers for water under rental, capital projects are in there, and our. This is just a reminder of the projects that are in the CIP fund. I believe they're on this list. It's the same project that you guys approved at the previous board meeting. Just know that those are in the budget book. And the fire department, we continue to truly right-size the fire fund. Again, there's the background information. The fire department's expenses used to be split up. So that it's very difficult to find the true cost of operating the fire department. Both this past year and then this year, even more so, truly try to grab all of those expenses that are hiding in other funds and bring it to the fire department fund. That way, when somebody says how much it costs for us to operate on a fire department, we get to tell you how much that is. And so we add the revenues and expenses, you'll see that our revenues, again, it's based on projections, the annual revenue. It's about 590,000. For actual expenses, should be about 716. So we still need about 126,000 transfer from the general fund to the fire fund. The good news is that this is lower than in this year's budget that we're in. We had projected about $170,000 transfer. So we're making progress there, and we discussed that at the public to make sure we can make some adjustments for this tight budget in the fire department. The only other piece to add to this is the paramedic program. When the paramedic program was created, we created our own separate fund for the purposes of operating that. This made sense at the time because in order to account and keep track of the expenses for the county's reporting requirements, we needed to separate this out from our fire operations. While that is very long rate, the whole program is dependent on increased ambulance revenue that are generated through this program. The difficulty, and we're going to continue to research this with the chief and Melissa and I, as far as we know, we get those ambulance revenues. There's no way to know whether it's the paramedic call or if this was some other specific call, right? So until we have a way to the relief of dollars, fire fund should end up getting all of the second revenue that they were paying for. And a portion of it that was meant to augment the paramedic program is not recognized able to do that. So the other way that made sense for us to practice, and it was aided, and that was it does not meet all of the is you just take all the paramedic expenses and you roll it in the fire. So that way it truly offsets the cost. Yes, we'll still need to be able to separate the clients and be able to do that. Yes, we still find ways that we can understand or make sure that those revenues with paramedics are understood. At the end of the day, this is the cleanest, easiest way to make both those funds balanced, plus still understand the total cost of operating. Hopefully that makes sense. I know it's going to be more detail. Next up, these are TID. So you'll see the picture on the right, which is familiar to some of you guys. This is our TID. Everything that's sold on there property that is either sold or built on already, and the rate is the available. So again, lots of process here, a lot of good stuff. You guys are well aware that Innovation Drive is starting. We've been doing engineering work, working with contractors to build that out next year, so innovation will continue. That's the part, and then now to another part. This comes with a pretty hefty price tag of $3.5 million to construct the road, utilities, and grade the property. So those costs are built in. Again, the way a TID works is all of those costs and borrowing stays within the TID. The TID taxpayers and the growth and development that happens there are like pays for this development. And then after 26 years of life of the TID, if there's still debt left over, then that goes on to the tenant. So you guys are very fortunate that we're doing this now. You guys have had another 24 years of the TID. Talking to the tellers or financial advisors, they're very confident that that not only the future development we used to see, but even if we stop developing today, we still are the path for this to pay off that debt. So that's something we're very proud of. The only other costs that are added in here are incomes that are added in here are the new taxes generated from development. We have lot sales added in here, and then the earned interest off of the debt proceeds. Just a note that ASCA, we should be coming to their December meeting. Ellen will be here to give that presentation. Moving on to our utilities. When you look at the rates, the water rate was fully approved with a simplified rate increase of 8%. That income generation is factored into the water utilities budget, along with an increase in repairs and maintenance as we continue to do now. Same thing with the sewer rates. We're increasing funds for repair and maintenance costs, but there is not a recommended sewer rate increases. The lab fund, you'll see the lab fund is the only fund that is budgeted with surplus. It's planned to have surplus on purpose. The idea behind this is that the fund is so new that we kind of want to give it a full fiscal year to test itself out. We're pretty confident in the municipal agreements that we currently have. We're certainly hopeful of a lot more. There also might be more costs as we get on more clients. Then right now, over financing chain, we didn't spend any other money, and then a surplus of 13K. So we'd like to see how that plays in 2024. And then in 2025 budget, we need to make adjustments, maybe assign a half-time person to that role, that fund. We can do that once we know what the actual funds will be. And then finally, we are setting aside $73,000 and $22,000 respectively. This says capital updates. There's really just to get our reserves. So a year, we take those dollars, throw them into our reserves that are expected for water and sewer, and then down to those, we have some money.
Do those two amounts of money, do they take in the expected and unexpected costs of water main breaks?
Yes, this is after, you'll see this in several live and repairs. For example, the water utility is 60,000.
Yes, it's regular repairs.
So this is
Customer.
after that, like once we use up that amount, we also.
Yeah, all right, okay, good.
Yeah. And then the final slide is what I always like to include, and should let you guys, it's a history of tax rates. So you'll see that you floated from 2017 through 21, floated around the $5.20 mark. Last year we had a significant dollar increase, and then now you see again as development keeps happening, we now are getting advantage of that. So I'll just kind of do it. This is a good thing. It's something that you really be proud of. Over the next month, you'll have your opportunity to read through this document, digest it, ask whatever questions you might have. We will put out a public notice out after tonight's meeting to set a public hearing in November. That'll give an opportunity for the public to come and address us and they all are welcome to do. And then that's very final notice for an option. Again, please don't be so many for questions. We're all here. I think that's it. And we answer any quick questions, otherwise.
I have a quick question. Did the first check come in yet for the EMS program for the county? It was supposed to be sent out this week.
I wasn't here today, so if it was in the mail today, you don't know that.
Oh, I have no idea, they just said the checks were OMR or whatever, everything was supposed to be going out.
You said early October, right?
Yeah, so first.
It's, I don't, what's early?
Well, the resolution is passed on October first, so it's October fifth, so I guess I'll be on the phone tomorrow.
Just want to wait till Monday and then we'll
Checks in the mail.
make sure it's not here.
Let me know.
Yeah.
If it's not, I will not be happy.
But you could vote for it.
Let me know.
No, really, my dog ate it, but.
All right, any other? Yes,
So how was the 29 cents decrease come up with? How was that formula
Yeah, that's a
derived?
good question. Let me go.
To clarify, it's a property tax.
You take that 1,000,005 or whatever that was and divide that by the tax increment and you come up with that figure, which is the million. Yeah, that one there.
There we go. So in the easiest way that I can explain it is you take your assessed value divided by the amount that you need to collect, which is your levy. By dividing those numbers, it gives you the bill. So in a sense, your rate went down because the amount you need to collect didn't change very much. It only went up by that 3.3%. But the value of the village went up by $20 million. So because you're now collecting the same amount of money from a larger pool, the overall rate that an individual needs to pay goes down. That makes sense? Good. So the value of your property didn't change between last year to this coming year. Then
More people pay.
you're multiplying by a lower denominator, which is your tax amount over. For adjusting it. Right.
Yeah, so the clarifier, that was junk before you even got here, I think. The skater was junk. The generator still only operates half the plant down there. Are they have any plans for that in this budget? I didn't see anything.
It is, and we've discussed this before, I believe it's in 2025.
I think that's what we talked about with Mike and her down there.
That's a known expense.
The 5% merit-based raise for full-time employees, I mean, we just went through this last year and gave everybody, you know, a significant raise in the first place. I think we should visit that a little bit. I read your comments on your when you talked about this at your meeting.
Like finance committee minutes?
Yep, and then that was discussed, and a lot of good conversation there, and recommendation how that committee was.
Yeah, I don't know where people get that kind of raises every year like this. The EMT versus paramedic charges. When you're calculating that stuff, like as surplus, you know what a paramedic, or I mean, we're gonna be only sending paramedics to calls, correct? Once we have a full-time paramedic, so is there a wage difference, or I mean, charge difference between just sending an EMT?
When we have full-time paramedics and staff, it will be during the day, Shelley will still be paid into the hospital. So we'll have full paramedic and.
Yeah, so is that a flat rate then, right?
Typically, it's a flat rate that the ambulance. I don't know how Vernonia charges. But I know how other departments charge, they charge, some departments charge just a flat rate for a call. Some departments charge by what.
Personnel.
This much.
No, I know, but if we're gonna cover Northern Odaki with a paramedic, I mean, they're gonna be going all the time. Shouldn't we have that rate?
village, the Fredonia Fire Department has a contract with a company called LifeQuest that does the building for them. And that is the arrangement they've made out with them, how they charge.
But we won't be doing that after we have our full-time.
LifeQuest does.
We can change the instructions to get LifeQuest to build it in a different way, a little here.
And I don't know what that contract is or how it is. But I will make the fire department with LifeQuest, this is how we want it to be built. And then it's
Right.
the village, as far as the meetings for Chris, we are not participants of those things.
It would cost us more to handle that bureaucracy than to have LifeQuest do it.
Yeah, I don't.
It's the time consuming for us. Where they do it all the time is.
Bruce, to answer your question, it's under your generator, it's 2025.
Any other questions of the administrator and his presentation?
Put on 2 pages.
I think I see the same thing you saw, the 20 expenses.
Yeah, mine is, I think it's a typo. But I didn't quite understand that, but I think it's explained.
I happened to be looking at you when you were looking at that and saw that, and I was like, what?
Pick one.
Yeah, right.
I'll take the top.
Better expensive for
You
less.
did always. All right.
Yeah.
Any other,
Copy in there.
any other questions of the administrator?
I just wanted to point out the success that we've had the last number of years of keeping the mill rate consistent, which was one of our goals since I've been on the board.
Yep. And hopefully we can, after all these changes that we've done, hopefully we can come to that place again where it's gonna be consistent and we know it's gonna be happening, although. next year it's
It
gonna be
takes a while to
interesting.
get there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I'm gonna move on then, if that's okay with everybody. Perfect. Thank you, Administrator Jenkins. We'll move on to reports, village committees. First is the planning commission. We had happy to know the quickest meeting we've ever had in planning commission history, I think, at least since I've been there. 6 minutes, which was awesome. We had Corsa Technic come to us with their building plans for remodeling and improving the facade that's on the building. We took a look at the different colors and the different spaces and all that. This is really one of the, I think, first times that the planning commission has had to do the part of the job of the art board, the old art board, and I think we passed with flying colors. Yeah, anyway, it was approved, and we are rocking and rolling, so they know about it and they're excited to get started. Any questions?
How did the combination of the art board and the planning commission go? Was there any kickback or feedback from any of the members? Questions, concerns about it?
I think in general, there were some current concerns at first, but I think that in general, people were saying that it'd be kind of interesting. I think we've got a good diverse board. I think Don would probably agree with me with that. A lot of different areas, and I think they were kind of excited to be able to do a couple of other things. And until it gets super crazy and busy, I think that they're up for the challenge, and hopefully it doesn't get too overwhelming. But yeah, in general, pretty positive. I don't see any issues with it so far.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot for us to do. It was a remodel anyhow. All they're doing is the roof and putting a new roof on, so.
Yeah, and
If it was more expensive for a new building or something like that, usually the airport sets top of block. We'll have to have the building inspector or somebody do that, and that has to be part of the process somewhere. So, and a number of other things. We have to check and see once, remember we were talking about the covenants and stuff?
Yeah, we talked about the covenants a little bit.
We'll have to check and see how
Right.
that would apply to exterior buildings, what was in 2 and what's in 3, if we wanted to see them or whatever.
Right. Talking about the TID and if what we want to have, if we want to have some sort of conformity amongst buildings and all that stuff, we should probably have that as a goal of ours to take a look at.
So we have a couple in TID too, that I think 2 of them are getting built now. That one across the street on the west side of the street, and then the one north of Badger Paperwork. those two lots are gonna be built on,
Mhm.
and they're in TID two, and they have covenants and whatever. Wherein we didn't.
Well, I
really,
don't,
apply anything to TID three that I
No.
can recall. So we'll have to figure out how to handle that if we want
Mhm.
to just say, well, we're gonna do this throughout the whole thing, or what.
Good point. All right, any other questions? All right, thank you. I will move on to Finance Committee Chair to talk about the Finance Committee meeting.
Yep, we had a meeting, Administrator Jenkins covered a lot of it, but, we talked about a lot of good things that will come out of that was obviously, salaries, which we knew was gonna be, it always is kind of a sticking point. Thought we had a lot of good discussion on it. And, hopefully a good resolution that came out of that. So I stand by that. Talked about not raising sewer rates, so we're pushing that off till next year, we could seriously consider or looked at. Consider next year. And
Yeah, we should do this.
that was pretty much that was the whole meeting.
Excellent. Thank you. Trustee Haas, any questions on the Finance Committee meeting?
I would ask, where did the 5% come from? It's based on their annual income, correct, Josh?
It's not 5%, it's 2.5 up front and then another 2.5 based on merit base, so it's not 5% total.
Well, it said 5% on there,
That's up to
Up to.
5%.
right?
So they'll be guaranteed a 2.5% raise come January 1 if it passes. Their cost of living increase, that's standard, and then another 2.5% based on merit. But that wouldn't come into play until July 1st, so only July 1st through the end of the year though.
Yeah, I'm just concerned that we gave quite a bit of money away in the last 2 years. To these gentlemen. We did, yeah, before you were here. But to keep them on when they were with 3 guys.
Well,
Little concerning.
I can tell you right now, I understand where you're coming from, but my argument to that would be, you weren't sitting here either when we were going through what we were going through.
Yeah, I was.
Oh, you weren't. You say, you talk about like, yeah, we had 2 people up there, well, when they all walked out the door. We didn't have any.
Yeah, I was here for the Red Rip, I guess.
The raises the guys got last year, they're really, really people.
Everybody got money last year. Everybody did. There was bonuses and
You
stuff
took
like
a
that.
cut.
Yeah,
We're talking, the crew is the only one that got any raises.
Yeah, cause they were way behind.
It was, they're not making what you should have been, not that we're making. what you should have been. So I don't.
there's a lot of people like that in the world right now. You know,
Yeah, and they
and
keep drinking.
you know, we're giving money, we can give them money. A 5% increase as a board. And you look at the village of Fredonia, not everybody gets that inflation increase. Not everybody gets that.
I agree. I think,
I'm gonna call a point of order. If I don't. Josh will.
Correct.
This is, it's agendized as reports. And it's not an action item or a discussion item, so we have to just, okay, whatever. Make notes of things that you wanna discuss or add or subtract, and then we'll do that at the proper time. Hopefully before we have a public hearing.
I'm happy to share.
all right, we're taking. All right, any other questions on? If not, we're gonna move on to items for discussion and action. The first one is gonna be motion to approve ordinance 2023-11, which pertains to the monthly permitting option of food trucks. If you recall, we went back and forth with this about, where am I?
You're there.
Oh, here I am.
One more.
Did you find the error yet?
I didn't, Don, and I'm very nervous.
Well, it's not really that.
Okay, so I can give a little bit of background here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Please
If
do.
you'd- I'm
Yes.
sorry, Dan.
No, absolutely. Go ahead. No.
So you guys
Sorry.
approved the changes to the transient merchant ordinance on September 7th. That only included language for an annual permit. Attorney Woodward suggested that we tweak the language to codify the monthly option as well. So that's what we're asking tonight. And Don said there's an error.
So don't hold us hostage here. What's the error, Don?
Where have I gone wrong?
We have a conjunction that has an imbalance to it.
Okay,
And there's, on the first line, at the end of the line, there's a 4 between
Yes.
the word either and 30.
for either.
Was that discussed whether it should be on or not?
I missed
Yeah,
it.
the second 4
Yeah.
should be taken off that. When you're balancing a sentence like that, and it's long and it's got commas and everything, what you do is you take everything away from the conjunction and just read the conjunction. And it says, which shall be valid for either 30
Mhm.
days or 1 calendar year. So that 4 should come out of there, and then it makes sense, and
Thank you.
you're welcome.
You just brought me back to like 7th grade English class right there.
No, I was shifting my
Sister
feet a little
Blanche.
bit.
Still
Sister
feeling it?
Blanche.
Still feeling it?
Yeah.
I love it. Right.
I'll make a motion
I
to
wish you would teach that nowadays in school.
make a motion to approve ordinance 2023-11 with the changes.
I have a motion. And I have a second. Is there any more discussion? If not, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Woo. Aye, opposed? Motion carries unanimously. And with that, I think we are, in order to go into closed session pursuant to state statute 1985.
Motion on closed session.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We'll start on Kurt's side of the room. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Thanks, Melissa. We are,
Or is it speaking?
yes, if you don't mind muting or doing whatever we gotta do with the camera, it'd be great.
So I'm gonna.
I'll go to that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
You need to call me back in before you guys adjourn to open session. Okay,
Okay, we're back in open session. Next, we have correspondence, to which I do not believe there is any. All right, just bear with me for 1 second here because, well, actually, I know. There is a disc golf tournament happening on the same day as Trick or Treat, so I believe it's October 28th. Right?
yes,
Oh, yeah.
well,
Is it
trick or treating is.
Yes, so it's on that, I can't remember what timing, whatever, but it's on that day, just so that you know, so the disc golf course will be closed. I believe it starts at 11 and runs till like 4, so. And that's one of
Well, it's
those,
close to the public.
so that's one of those. Something sponsored, whatever's. All right, I don't have
If I
anything.
can throw this on there, actually, you're talking about the disc golf course. I got some really good feedback from a local disc golfer. And he said it's an amazing course. It's hard, but it's one of the best courses he's ever played.
Mhm.
Excellent.
We have trees that we need to plant down there. We should budget. We should remember, Parks should remember that to expend a certain amount of money,
Yeah, parks.
especially for public works or whoever does it. Especially on that shot going past where the road turns. Cause that was nothing but trees and the whole deal. We gotta put some stuff there. You're all after, for the whole thing.
Mhm. And I guess I'd say on that, one thing that we have did not end up implementing is the pay for play thing, so we still. need to
Yeah,
do that.
that was my question.
So I think
That
that's still,
kiosk or whatever you
Yeah,
got
the
going.
QR code. and-
yeah, we're still working on that.
Okay.
Perfect. Anything else?
No, I have a motion to adjourn.
That's perfect.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned at 8:31.
Didn't even take us 3 hours.
No, because there's no actual.
What's that?
Said there was no actual discussions.
Yeah.
Sorry about the can, that was just.
That might be a little, no, that should be. I used to get it from Melissa all the time, because I would be taking it.
I did the same, I got to done, so.
You did the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You did? How about that?
Yeah, I found for 3 hour minutes.
Oh, do we?
Hey, Rick, you got this down in the jar?
I was hoping it was our next meeting.
Yeah, I brought you jar back.
Is that the jar in the
That's-
office?
We were trying to figure out whose that was.
Yeah.
The money jar. Where
Well,
jar?
there's mason jars that you can grab.
Yeah, of course, you give it to me and then it doesn't come.
So what was the setting?
I don't remember.
What
are we doing closed session?
No, Rick actually made them, custom made frame,
Didn't know I could do that.
What?
longer.
Actually, we can't play it
No.
because it's closed session.
I believe